welcome back to Bridal Sewing Techniques, and today we're going to have a fray check showdown. That's right, there's a few things out there that we can use when we have something that's fraying. Now, we don't use this a lot in bridal, but sometimes we get kind of dragged into other projects that aren't necessarily bridal alterations, or sometimes you're going to have a dress that there's something going on the inside. It was a sample, it was damaged, it's fraying, and the bride doesn't want to replace that panel of fabric or get anything too expensive. She would rather you just stop the fraying on the inside, and she's okay with you using one of these products or choices, and then also sewing it, of course. So you need to check with her, make sure she's okay with it not being entirely heirloom. A lot of brides are okay with that. A lot of brides don't even keep their dresses nowadays, so we're not entirely bound to sewing only heirloom style now. So I will go over the three most popular choices for you. One is the E6000 Fray Lock. The next one is the Dritz Fray Check. And the third one is just an old-fashioned lighter where you can heat seal the edges of things. Let's dive in. Okay, so I've made up this handy dandy little chart for you. And on the left, you'll see the column for the E6000 Fray Lock. In the middle, we have Dritz Fray Check. And on the end, we have Bic Lighter. I've got 4 different types of fabric for you. One is going to be polyester in black. The reason why I wanted to do black is because some of these products are not completely clear. And so I want you to be able to see if you ever have to work on colored fabric, if it's going to leave a trace behind. So we've got polyester, ivory silk, ivory polyester, and then ivory cotton lace. And here they are all laid out for you. And stick with me today. At the end of the video, I've got a little rolled hem hint for you. Okay, and as always, we are keeping it real around here. This is not a brand new product. I grabbed this from off of my shelf in my workroom because that's normally how we have things. We have them stored. So it appears as if there's like a little clog in it. So I'm gonna start with just breaking it up with a pen and seeing if that's gonna get things going. As you know, with products like this, it's really important to know, do they clog? How badly do they clog? That kind of thing. This really clogged. I had to get all of that out of the cap before it would work. So that's one little aspect to keep in mind. You can see how thick this is going on. It's pretty thick. And it dries thick also, so you're going to want to keep that in mind. It's got kind of a shiny, clear sheen to it when you're done. It doesn't just absorb into the fabric and disappear. It's got a pretty tough edge to it, although the edge is a little stretchy, and I'll show you all that in a minute. And next up, we're going to be using the Dritz Fray Check. And we're going to see if this is clogged. This has been sitting around too. I think it's a little clogged. Let's try twirling a pin around in there again. See if that's all we need to do, or if we have to actually take the nozzle off and clean it out. No, things are moving right along. So this is more of a liquid than a gel. So you can see how it goes on. And you also cut the tip of this off. So you get to decide, how low down on the tip do you cut. Okay, so now it's time to burn, baby, burn. As you may or may not know, some fabrics heat seal really well, particularly the ones that have a lot of synthetic in them. The ones that are natural don't burn quite as well. They turn into carbon. See that? See how it turned brown on the edge? So that's not a great choice for natural fibers such as rayon or silk. Now we're back to the ivory polyester and then on to the cotton lace. Cotton, again, is a natural fiber. So, whoa, look what happened. It literally ignited and of course turned brown. So that ivory polyester, don't let it fool you. Sometimes that will turn a little bit yellow or brown on the edge as well. And with all of these, of course, you have to use caution with how long you burn. Definitely test some fabric. Don't just haul off burning on somebody's dress or something like that. You need to be very careful with it. Now I'm zooming in on the fray check. We are observing the drying process right now. So what I did is I moved it around so that it wouldn't dry to the paper. These are already dry. It's only been a few minutes. The fray lock, the E6000 fray lock is what I'm showing you now. Those are not dry yet. That's a pretty thick gel. So you can see where it's kind of cloudy. That's how it's still drying. So that's going to take a little longer to dry. Good to know. The lighter is pretty instant. The fray lock takes the longest to dry. Now let's look at them up close. This is again on the black fabric, so you can really see the sheen here. And I'm going to pull on each of these so you can see how well it works to stop fraying. And you can tell it's not fraying at all. This is the silk. We're also going to give it a tug. It's not fraying. I think this would be an excellent product for a hidden repair. You definitely wouldn't want this to be out in the open where it would be seen. It would be quite obvious. The other thing, and I'll show you in a minute, it does say for uses on the package that this is great for gluing your knots also. If you follow me, you know I like hypo cement, but I did work with a seamstress that used to always use this E6000 to lock her knots. And it's even holding the lace together, which is good because the lace can sometimes still fray even though it's had something applied to it. So here I'm going to zoom in so you can see the different uses that they list on here. And it does say washable. Lock thread knots, seal raw edges, acid free, dries crystal clear, washable. So there you go. E6000 fray lock. Now let's look at the Dritz. This is Dritz fray check. I wanted to show you this on black because sometimes this product can leave a little cloudy line. Do you see that? Where you've put it. So I would use a lot of caution on using this on a dark fabric. Let's pull at it a little bit. Okay, so this product is a little bit more secretive. You can't see it as much as you can the fray. Here's the back side that's had no product applied, and then this top side is where I put it. But you can see it doesn't stop the fraying quite as well as the fray lock. But there is a difference. So again, I'm going to pull on the fray check side right now. You can see the line where it was. Now I'm going to pull where the product is not. So you can see that the product really is doing something. It's keeping it from fraying entirely. And let's look at the ivory polyester again. Yeah, so that worked pretty well for that swatch. Very low profile. And now we're looking at the cotton. And let's see how that does with the cotton lace. It's holding it together pretty well. All right, and then we're going to move on to heat sealing. Heat sealing, as you can see, the little rumples, it can kind of draw up your fabric a little bit. You have to use lots of caution because there's the risk of burning the fabric or igniting the fabric. But as you can tell, it works really well to stop the fraying. Now let's look at the silk. Again, I said I wouldn't really use heat sealing on silk, but I wanted you guys to learn what happens. But even though it's not a great idea, it is stopping it from fraying, which is pretty interesting. Look at the difference. It's kind of interesting. All right, so here's the ivory polyester. Again, sometimes, depending on what all is in the synthetic blend fabric, sometimes it does turn kind of brown or yellow when you heat seal it. And here's the cotton lace. That's kind of burned together as well too. That's not flaking apart. Well, I hope seeing all these different products and choices has helped you. Leave me some comments down below on how you handle fraying in your shop when your solution is not just sewing. Now, here is a little extra hint for you for the rolled hem. If you notch your seam allowance just a little bit, it makes it a lot smoother when you roll over it with a rolled hem. The seam is not quite as bulky, and so your rolled hem stays nice and smooth. See how that works. Again, I'm hand rolling. That's just a personal preference. And I do have a video coming up for you guys. There were so many comments about rolled hem on the bias and circle hems and things like that. So I'm going to do a video soon on those types of hems, the little troublesome hems and how you can set a rolled hem in them. But when you roll this, it seals over that seam where you notched it. So make sure your notch is the size of your hem allowance. And there it is, nice and smooth. Please like and share and subscribe. I hope this has helped you.